After experimenting with some Diet Coke and Mentos that I bought from a nearby Dollar General, I start the video at Route 66 State Park. This place is just east of the city of Eureka, and it's actually the site of a ghost town. One that has no historic remains, as every building was demolished in Times Beach shortly after a state ordered evacuation in 1985. For now, we're going to drink some Mountain Dew and speed up the video to where we get to Eureka, as my next video will be all about what happened to Times Beach, Missouri. Believe it or not, Times Beach isn't the only ghost town next to Eureka, as on the west side of town there's a place called Allenton, which I'll also talk about in my next video, so stay tuned for that. Eureka is a small city/suburb in extreme southwestern St. Louis County, and looking at this map, you can see just how huge St. Louis County is in terms of land area. And not only is there a ghost town on either side of Eureka, but it's also home to Six Flags St. Louis. And everything else about this town screams Route 66 as you head on through the original parts of town. It's served by a main railroad line, which of course is what helped this town grow initially, and then once Route 66 came through, things really took off. With that said, when you drive through Eureka, it feels like its own small town, despite being a part of the greater St. Louis area, which has 2.8 million people. Well, let's talk about how the city of Eureka came to be. The Missouri Pacific Railroad was extended west from St. Louis to the town of Pacific, which lies just west of Eureka, and that was in 1853. They say that the name of Eureka comes from the fact that railroad builders came around the bend in the river, looked west, and saw that there was flat land with very few obstacles to avoid in the terrain heading in that direction, unlike the rugged geography just east of here. And the builders then shouted, "Eureka!" I kid you not. That's how the town received its name. By the way, Eureka is Greek for "I've found it." A few years later, in 1858, the streets were laid out for the new village of Eureka. By 1890, Eureka had about 100 houses or so, and it was surrounded by agriculture. The high school was opened in 1909, and by 1954, Eureka was incorporated as a city. Originally, the city was only 2.7 square miles, but over time, the city annexed much of the surrounding land to be larger than 9 square miles. In 1970, Six Flags St. Louis was built, and it said that anywhere from 2 to 3 million people come to the theme park every year. So, outside of the railroad and Route 66, there's not much else to mention about the history of Eureka. With that said, I'll briefly mention that due to the area's mostly hilly terrain and the strong rainstorms that the area commonly sees, flooding along the Meramec River can be pretty widespread throughout the Meramec River Valley, and most of Eureka sits on low land within the valley. The downtown itself is far enough away from the river, but there are some parts of town that are close enough to the river where a flood can cause major damage to some of the homes and other buildings. For example, the high school sits over a half-mile away from the river, but in 2017 there was a major flood that came through and it caused quite a bit of damage to the school. So if you're looking to move to Eureka, do yourself a favor and look at living in the northwest part of town or in one of the subdivisions along one of the hills in the area. Or at least consult with a realtor and ask questions about the floods from 2015 and 2017. Not to mention that since Eureka is in Missouri, there's a really high risk for tornadoes occurring, but that's not unique to anywhere in Missouri or anywhere within a 500-mile radius for that matter. Meanwhile, this is Eureka High School. The school is a part of the Rockwood School District, which covers a pretty large area of extreme West St. Louis County. Rockwood schools are considered to be some of the best in the state, which is expected as much of West County is a wealthy area, and usually wealthy suburban areas are home to the best public schools. Eureka High School goes by the Wildcats, and among the most notable alumni is former NFL safety Maurice Alexander, former NHL player Cam Jansen, current NFL running back Hassan Haskins, and country music singer Reese Palmer. With that said, let's now talk about the economic stats for the city. Over time, Eureka has seen consistent growth despite keeping its small-town feel. In 1970, the city was home to only 2,000, compared to over 10,000 today. The reason for the growth is that Eureka has annexed surrounding land as areas around town continued to see suburban-like growth, and not every city in Missouri has done that, as there's a lot of suburban St. Louis that is unincorporated or is a part of a very small municipality, and I think that more cities in the area should be doing what Eureka has done. The reason why is because the city has raised its annual budget from $3,400 originally to over $4 million, and regardless of political party, as long as that money is being put back into the community, that only makes for a better community. Today, Eureka is home to just under 13,000 people, and the median household income is as high as $112,000 per year. 48% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher, and the median value of owner-occupied housing units is $295,000, while the poverty rate is 3%. When compared to the rest of St. Louis County, those numbers make Eureka look pretty good. When it comes to the crime rates, Eureka is a safe place to live, as both the violent and property crime rates are under control. Niche.com gives the public schools an A, and Area Vibes gives Eureka a livability score of 90 out of 100, and scores that are 90 or above aren't given out easily by that website. The stretch of road that we're on right now used to be a part of Route 66, which was officially decommissioned in 1985. Much of this stretch of road remains as a commercial strip, however, mostly because it parallels I-44. Soon we'll be at the Six Flags, and then I'll head through downtown before ending the video. This is Six Flags St. Louis, which was built in 1970 and it opened a year later. The theme park used to be called Six Flags over Mid-America before changing its name to the current one in 1996. And even though I mentioned this before, I'll mention again that the park sees about 2 to 3 million visitors annually. Straight across I-44 from Six Flags is the ghost town of Allenton. Up ahead, you'll see that in order to reach Allenton from I-44, you need to cross over a creepy-looking one-way bridge. And unlike with Times Beach, where we started the video, there's actually a few remnants of Allenton left. But just like with Times Beach, we'll get into all of that in my next video, and once it's uploaded, I'll leave a link for it down below for easy access. For now, we're going to switch cars and we're going to step into our DeLorean and we're going to time travel a year and a half ahead before checking out Eureka's downtown area. And it's funny because just down the road from the ghost town of Allenton is this, and it looks nothing like a ghost town. It looks like a newer cookie cutter subdivision, because that's what it is.
How are you going to make a video on Eureka, Missouri and not talk about the Scarecrow Festival? Awful video.
Oh, well, it looks like we still have some time here, so thanks for reminding me. Yes, the Scarecrow Festival. It's held here every year in October, and the entire town will participate throughout the month by displaying scarecrows in the front of homes and businesses. Yeah, cool, neat. Don't want to forget mentioning that. No, not at all. Thanks for reminding me. Once again, yeah, you're the man. And up ahead, we turn right and cross the railroad tracks, and once we do, we'll be in downtown Eureka. It's a very small downtown, but it's a downtown nonetheless, and it gives the town its Americana feel. In this video, you saw the city of Eureka, Missouri, which definitely has a small town feel to it, yet it's an expanding suburb of St. Louis, as there's all kinds of subdivisions that we didn't see on our tour of Eureka that surround the original city. And it's a great place for families to live in, once again, as the schools are ranked pretty high. It's also surrounded by 2 ghost towns, which makes the place a little bit more interesting than your typical suburb or your typical small town. And it also has a theme park called Six Flags St. Louis, which is pretty popular as it sees 2 to 3 million visitors per year. With that said, I do end the video here, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell and select yes, so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos with amazing insights on other places like what you saw here can be found in my St. Louis Suburbs playlist, my Route 66 playlist, or my Missouri playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. We'll see you next time. Peace.